I had joined the Future Teachers of America when I was in junior high school.
Okay.
Also, I spent a lot of time with teachers and learning, you know, observing what was going on in the classroom, et cetera, et cetera. What types of experiences do you recommend for young people to be involved in if they're interested in becoming a financial planner?
That's pretty broad, and there are a couple of things you can just do in general to do that. I would say do as many public speaking classes as possible.
Okay.
Just because of the simple fact that it's not always going to be a one-on-one with a client. Sometimes that client, if you're doing a great job, that client will refer you to do a presentation for their church, or you know, we've had to do presentations for sororities, different organizations, things of that nature. So I would say anytime you can get some public speaking experience, I would highly recommend it. You can do things just in general, like just when you're relaxing. I know when I was going through college, everybody has their own clique that they hang out with, things like that. It's time to, at this point, you want to kind of step out of your comfort zone, starting to meet different people, getting to know different people, different walks of life, different ages, things like that. Because when you do that, it's a global society. It's not just, you know, one set of people anymore. So in order to relate and empathize with different people, you have to be able to, you know, get to know everybody.
Okay. So you've made really two important points just now. That number one, you did say that you should take public speaking. Now, I think that's very important, and this is why we have this program, is because when we speak with experts, then the experts have insights that the average person would not have. So taking public speaking to become a financial planner is helpful.
It's helpful. Or just, you know, when it's time to be in class, when the teacher says who wants to read or who wants to do a presentation, you want to be that person, you know, to jump up there, because I mean, that's the only way you're going to get comfortable with speaking from large groups of people and, you know, breaking down those barriers, you know, so because I had to do it a lot myself. And sometimes, you know, nobody's perfect. So, you know, sometimes you have to, you know, do a little bit more and more. Repetition makes perfect.
And so you're also speaking of taking initiative.
That's correct, yes.
Now, second point that you made, Sheldon, that I think is very crucial is you alluded to networking. The importance of realizing that we live in a diverse community, that now we're in a global market. So we need to be able to relate to more than just the people who are from our community or from our racial group or from our group that we just associate on a regular basis, but we need to be able to communicate well and to relate well with many different types of people. So I think that's an excellent point. And again, because of your expertise in your field, you're able to share these insights that perhaps a person just looking or reading about a financial planner would not gain this information so easily. Boy, I appreciate you being here because we're getting some really wonderful information from you. Okay. I'm going to ask if you want to share any other advice for young people in general to do well in a career field.
Okay. Don't do drugs and stay in school.
Okay, don't do drugs and stay in school.
All right, well,
I agree with that.
Right, I'll just get it. Well, apart from that, I would say, especially in this market, I would say integrity is very important. It's paramount. Integrity is paramount.
Okay.
And the reason that is because, I mean, everybody wants the glitz and glamour. I do also. Everybody wants the, you know, everybody wants Bernie Madoff's money, but you don't want to do what Bernie Madoff did to make that money, if that makes sense.
Okay.
You know, he's wealthy, but now he's in prison because he didn't have that moral compass or carry himself with integrity. So same thing when you sit down with a client, even though it may not always be financially profitable for you, it's best to give the client an honest answer. So even if you may not, you know, have that person as a client because you can't suit their needs or whatever it may be, you know, it's very important that you carry yourself with integrity and be honest with that client, because you have to think about everybody. Is that your family? What would you want to happen to your family? What would you want situation would you want to be in? Love what you do. I mean, if you love what you do, the money is always going to come. I'm very motivated myself, so if I like what I do, I know I'm going to make it happen and have goals. There are always going to be bumps in the road. So if you have a goal in mind, if it's whether it may be, in college I wanted a nice car, so I used to have, and when I graduated from college I had like a poster of the car I wanted. I still do things like that now, to keep me focused on the big picture. So, always have a goal, and if it's something that's tangible or something that you want to accomplish, you want that Mercedes S65, order a booklet, put it in your folder, and whenever that class is beating you down, you look at it and like, hey, that's why I'm taking this class, that's why I'm here, I'm looking at the big picture, you're not just looking at a day-to-day. Same thing with financial services. You can't just look at everything at a day-to-day, you have to look at the long run, the long term.
Okay. Well, again, you're making some really important points, and you're also giving some really good strategies for our young people. I like the idea of having a picture of what you're working toward to help you focus.
Absolutely.
And focusing is very important. Also, being able to give yourself a purpose. Why am I doing this? Why am I sitting in this class? Why am I up at 2:30 in the morning doing this homework? Why am I writing all these papers? It's very important to have a purpose and to be able to refocus on what this is and be able to realize that you have the ability to actually bring into existence your goals. Because we know that on our program we have talked about an internal and an external locus of control, and to reiterate this. An internal locus of control means that you believe that you impact your life and that the actions which you take impact your life, whereas an external locus of control means that the person believes that he or she doesn't have much control and that the external forces are impacting that person. So, of course, we want our viewers to really focus on having a good internal locus of control to help motivate them and to help them be very successful. Now, I'd like to know a little bit more about you, Sheldon.
Okay.
And, I've asked you a lot of questions. You've spoken to us about some of the important things to do to do a good job in financial planning. You've spoken to us about some of the worst things you can do. You've also given us some insight into what students need to do in order to go through an educational progression to get certified as a financial planner. Now, what I wanted to know is, what are some other things that are important to you as an individual? Because we realize that we're all are individuals. But now, before you answer that, I'm gonna give you a few seconds to think about that.
Okay.
And I see from sitting here with you, and now also, as I spoke about earlier, I had a chance to listen to you do a presentation. It was an excellent presentation. I let you know how well and how much I thought of your presentation. So, but I think it's important also for young people to realize that you're always an individual and that you need to be balanced. You need to have, you can't work all the time.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to turn that over to you in a minute, but this is what I noticed about you. And another thing I've noticed is that you're very passionate about what you're doing. You really are very interested, and you're very determined and confident about your career field. And this comes across in the way you speak, it comes off in the way you present yourselves, and it also comes off in your professionalism as an individual. So I just wanted to make those comments of my observations in listening and seeing you do your presentation.
Okay. Okay. All right, so for me, I enjoy long walks on the beach.
Okay.
All right. All right. Well, for myself, I'm a pretty outgoing guy. I enjoy sports. I love football. Go Steelers.